This is a demo of RMM-PRO's managed backup for the SolarWinds RMM platform. First, let's install managed backup on our test machine. After sending the install task, we'll wait for managed backup to be installed on our test machine. The install was completed in about 2 minutes. There's nothing to do on the endpoint, as the managed backup will automatically configure itself the first time a backup is run from the dashboard. For testing purposes on this test machine, we have about 10 gigs of data spread across our desktop, download, and documents folders. However, managed backup has been tested with over 4 terabytes of data. Now that managed backup is installed on our endpoint, let's go ahead and run a backup. Make sure to deselect Set Maximum Permitted Execution Time, as we're not sure how long the backup is going to take based on the amount of data that we're backing up and how good their internet connection is. Now that our Run Managed Backup task is synced, I'm going to go ahead and manually start a backup. Because this is the first backup, it's going to perform a full backup. However, all future backups are incremental forever bit level backups, so they will complete much faster. In this example, I'm running a back-to-back local backup to a network share as well as a cloud backup to the B2 storage. These configuration settings, as well as all other configuration settings, were customized for this client before the install, so there is no need to access the endpoints, even when you're deploying managed backup on many machines. Let's go ahead and run our backup. Here on our endpoint test machine, we can see the managed backup exe executable is running, so we know our backup is already started. Here we can see managed backup has already started creating log files. Managed backup is running and verifying the configurations that we set. Then it's going to check for any updates and perform an automatic update before it continues with the backup. One of the default configurations that managed backup sets is that it marks all user profiles for backup. You can set additional folders and custom exclusions if you want. However, the default settings are good for a large majority of machines. Here we can see the local backup has already started and backup files have already started being written to our network share. The directory structure is computer name, a date stamp, and then a GUID. Okay, based on our logs, we can see that the local backup has finished and that it was successful. So now it's automatically going to move to the cloud backup and perform the exact same data backup to the cloud. We can see that our network activity has jumped up quite a bit, so we know that data is being sent. Our local network backup is completed and all of our data is encrypted with AES 256 with our predefined encryption key. The local backup from start to to finish only took about 7 minutes, but this is just a test VM machine, so in the real world a local backup can run much faster. Okay, we can see that the remote backup is now finished on the endpoint, and we can see our logs reflect that the local backup completed successfully, the remote backup completed successfully, and that there were no errors. Let's take a look at the Backblaze B2 storage bucket to see our backed up data. Okay, here I am logged into our Backblaze B2 storage bucket, and we can see that Managed Backup created the computer for that client and for that machine and gave it a GUID with a timestamp. And all of our files are backed up exactly like we expected. Okay, here we are back at the dashboard, and we can see that that task ran successfully. The task does check to ensure that the backup completed successfully. So if there was an error or an incomplete backup, it's going to fail the task. Now let's take a look at how we monitor scheduled backups so that we're completely hands-off and we only get alerted if backups miss a period of time that we set as a threshold. For this, I'm going to use a custom check. Here is our managed backup script check, and it's going to allow us to set the number of days that backups can be missed before we're alerted. So for some customers, we have to make sure there's a backup every single day. Other customers, it can go a few days offline. So you can set that to whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and leave that to 3 days just for testing purposes. Okay, our custom backup check has synced and automatically ran, and we can see it was successful. If we want to see more information, we can look at the log, and it's going to give us a date stamp of when the last backup was run, so we know exactly when the last time was, and we're going to get a message as to whether or not backups are up to date or not. If backups aren't up to date, then that check will fail. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys give Managed Backup a try. I think you're going to like it, and as always, email us for support, or if you have any feedback, please go ahead and send it in, and we'll respond right away.